A standoff between the Celts and Romans in Albion is about to ignite. Playing as Governor Naucratius, we've been sent to quell a rebellion in an unfamiliar land, but the path we pick is ours to decide. Shall we seek détente with the Celtic leaders and foster an uneasy peace, or walk the path of war to establish Rome's iron grip over the province? This and more in today's Anno 117 video, and thanks again to Anno for sponsoring it. We are back in Anno 117 again, picking up from where we left off, having completed the first act. If you want, you can go back and watch the first part. I'll put it somewhere obvious so you can't miss it. But to recap, we're playing as Marcus Naucratius, a fictional character within the very historical setting of Rome in the year 117. In the last part, I talked about how the year 117 is so important for the Roman Empire, with Emperor Trajan dying and the new Emperor Hadrian ascending to the throne. And now that we find ourselves in Albion, otherwise known as the province of Britannia within the Roman Empire, the trend will continue. It would be in 117 that the Roman Empire would contract a little bit and solidify its control over its gains in Britain. And just a few years into the setting that we're playing today, Hadrian's Wall would actually be built. So as the new governor of Britannia, it's our job to further the interests of the Roman Empire in this region. Not entirely without help, we do have Procurator Corvinus here to help us, and our very first task is going to be to settle one of these two islands. The first island, Codeslip, is, well, it sort of lives up to the name. You'll be slipping around a lot with the marshes that we have cutting right through the island here, making it not particularly appealing unless we can figure out a way to maybe drain these. I'm not too sure. There is a long history of draining swamps in England, particularly around the fens, and the Romans did make a few attempts to do so. So maybe we get some technology to help us out with that, maybe not. Let's take a look at Carraig. Much of the same, a lot of swamp over here. We have a little craggy outcrop, which I assume we will not be able to build upon, probably. Between the two, it looks like Carraig really has a lot less buildable space. It's kind of a miserable place, really. If you were a Roman visiting here, you would think this is close to hell on earth, nowhere near the climate of Rome, and a lot swampier. Carraig does seem to offer a bit more of a challenge, so we're going to take our chances and see what we can do with this swampy, rocky island. So let's settle ourselves over here. We're going to bring our boat over. Procurator has given us money. Interesting that we can either accept or decline the support. I think we might as well accept. I don't know if it comes with strings attached, but I would like to have more money. And so we arrive. I think this would be the better spot for us to start setting up, actually. I think this is a fine place. It's sort of like a small natural harbor, a little bit enclosed in here. It'll keep your ship safe from storms. You know, you have the rocks here to break up the waves as they reach shore. So we'll just go ahead and put this down right here.
I won't feel better so long as I am condemned to sodden marsh.
Definitely not taking it well. But we're stuck with our lot, so let's start planning our city. Again, we're going to go with a grid just like we did last time, as the Romans did prefer. Of course, we'll start with the wood that we need. Actually, over here might have been better to start, but anyway. We do need some wood, and there's really not a lot of forest coverage here. Maybe over here. Get that sawmill right next to it. Main road right about there. And we'll also start setting up a few residences. Now, the town's going to be a little more spread out just because of the geography, so I'm thinking we're going to have a little center probably over here, actually. Yeah, there's not a lot of space for easy city planning here, but we can do something kind of like this. Oh, this is pretty different than back in Rome. Instead of building a farm, which I guess kind of makes sense, we don't have too much arable land here, we instead have to fish for clams and eels. So let's see if we can get this down here. Oh, I see. These actually have to be built in swamps. That's interesting. Instead of draining them, actually, maybe they can be useful for us. I hadn't really considered that. Well, let's keep building up our little town here. I do like the way that the buildings are different between Albion and back in the Roman cities. Well, these actually need to face a particular direction. There we go. The Procurator does want to talk to us about what happened back in Rome, so we'll sail over real quick, but in the meantime, we're going to build up a little bit more. We can now unlock the next two buildings. Now we have a market and bardic hearth to build up. Now the next question is actually, where do I want things to be built? And I think I might actually decide to move these around a little bit. So it's a little bit cursed with how long this road's going to be, but we're just going to go ahead and pick this up and move it over here actually. The market fits very nicely in here, and then the bardic hearth. The bardic hearth has a little bit of a shorter range. I might decide to actually throw that in here maybe. It doesn't fit perfectly into the grid system, but we'll throw in like a couple of ornaments maybe. Now the population also wants some clothing, of course. Some reed shoes and tunic. If I had to guess, I would say the reed shoes are probably also going to be made from stuff in the swamp. Yeah, we have the reed gatherer. Okay, I see. Oh, and you can actually build out into the swamp. I get it now. Okay, so we can put a reed gatherer down here, and we're gonna need 2 of these. They do provide a happiness bonus, and you know what, actually this might fit quite well. Putting 2 of them down right in here. We are going to need a warehouse, which fits pretty perfectly in here actually. And for the hemp farm, we're gonna build that a little further out as well. The biggest struggle is finding place for it, because I'm sure we can't cultivate hemp in the swamp. We might also put that up on the hill here. Bit of a cursed farm, don't worry about that. We can also get ourselves a little spinner in here. Let's talk to Corvinus. Yeah, news does travel slowly around the fringes of the Empire. I was kind of taking that conversation in. There's a lot in here actually. Corvinus mentions the new emperor, whose name I'm kind of forgetting. I'm just going to call him Hadrian, temporarily gaining the support of the Senate through fear. And then we get into a little bit of the historical fiction of the scenario, where Empress Julia is said to be the daughter of the previous emperor who was in charge of conquering into Albion. So this sets up kind of a claimant faction for her, where she seems to have a little bit more legitimacy. I don't think there was really a parallel like that in real life during this time, but we do need to set up a little bit of that conflict, I guess. Now, I just realized actually that the reed grower needs to be built kind of like a farm, and the eel farmers actually need to be spread out a little more. They're sort of like the woodcutters. So you don't want them to overlap, really. Oh, we get to decide how we rule this colony. This guy accidentally splashes some mud over our fine, brightly colored Roman nobility robes. As an apology, we can either take some shoes or some tunics, or we can just show forgiveness. And honestly, I don't think 20 shoes or tunics are really going to go too far for us. So we'll show forgiveness. It's fine. Oh, we get a new flagship. Let's go. We are so back. So now we're tasked with going and just doing like a scouting mission, just to see what's going on in this island over here. We're talking about how are we going to assert our control over the region. This is basically the main opposition for this chapter, I assume. Oh, actually, no, this is Manx's island. That's the guy we're going to travel with. While we're off on that little journey, we're going to take a look around on what we can do over here on the island. We need to attract either mercators or smiths, and for us to do that, I think we're going to have to start upgrading. So we're going to upgrade starting with these over here. We have 2 paths, the Celts and the Romano Celts, and they do have an impact. The mercators and nobles create larger cities and they reshape the environment, so we can drain marshes and build aqueducts. Whereas the Celts are a lot more in tune with the wetlands themselves and more so harness them rather than reshape them. We will go with the Romano Celts. I think we just have so much wetland on this one island, we're going to have to drain some of it. Now we have these very nice buildings over here. We're going to upgrade maybe a few of these actually. Just have like a little corner here. And we have this mud dryer over here we have to connect up. We're going to have it kind of like this to stay clear of this building. Then the charcoal burner will have that as far away from everything as we can. Tyler can go right next to it. Build up a little road, of course. We'll actually have this move all the way through here. Not perfect, but it'll have to do for now. So the Procurator is not exactly on our side necessarily. He's just a guy doing his job, and his job does involve reporting whether or not we mess up to the Emperor. His job, of course, also does involve reading all of the letters that are addressed to us, probably to kind of keep us in check. Make sure we're not doing anything particularly suspicious. Julia informs us that she has also been removed far from Rome and kept under house arrest. At this point, there's very little either of us can do to try and contest the new emperor. We're just going to go ahead and maximize the tile production here. We're going to need quite a few, and we have arrived in what they called Carraig Mhor. As far as I could tell, this isn't a real place that exists, but does translate from Scottish Gaelic to mean basically big rock, with the word Carraig in this place meaning rock, and fun fact, that's actually where we get the term Carraig from. Well, not directly, but they are related etymologically. Yeah, it seems they're not too happy about us being here. She is obviously whipping her people up into a frenzy to presumably attack our settlement and try to drive us back. We're not here to fight though, we're just here to take a look at what we're up against, and we would not want to siege this. This seems like a massive pain. We have an example of a hill fort, very commonly favored by the Celts in Britain. This spiral design makes it particularly annoying to try and siege. You can't really scale the cliffs easily to get up here, and if you want to go through the port, you're funneled into this small area here where the defenders have a massive advantage. And even as you fight this quite literal uphill battle, you're corralled into this tighter area to have to fight in. So even if you have a massive numbers advantage, the width here is way too small for you to fit that many troops. But I'm sure we'll make quick work of it. Now, we're definitely going to get raided at some point. It seems like somewhat of an inevitability. So we're going to have to build ourselves up at least a little bit here. But Albion really does not think highly of the Celts. He's drowning his sorrows in alcohol. Apparently we've actually run out because of him. If he likes alcohol that much, maybe we can have him brew beer. Who knows, maybe he'll even make something new to the island, a new export even. Not that we really have anything to brew beer with here, so good luck. Now, we do have enough tiles to start building a farm. I kind of like the setup that I have here, where I just have the farms attached to this main road and they extend outwards. So I'm going to continue this trend a little bit. We'll have ourselves a little mill just across from it. Never really know where to place these bakeries. They're kind of dangerous, but they also give us more money, so never really too sure. I guess we can put it down here. Now, we are going to need a second charcoal burner. Now that we've got some bread online, we are going to have to also get some salsicium. We do need a pig farm. Massive range of this pig farm. Unfortunately, it's a horrible thing to have. Yeah, this kind of sucks to live near. We just don't have that much space. Might actually nestle that over here instead, just to really get it out of the way. We do need this little herb garden, and we'll put that down right about here. We'll have it set up kind of like this. It's actually a pretty perfect fit when we throw in a warehouse as well. Might have to shift these logging camps even further, even though I kind of don't want to do that. It does look like this area has quite a few iron mines, so I'm anticipating that this center region might be used for a lot of smithing. Hopefully, we won't have to move this again, but we'll see. Now, with all this built, we have given the population a pretty significant boost. We can, of course, build this warehouse now. And then, much like the bakery, the salsicium is going to give us a couple of benefits within their area at the cost of being a little bit dangerous. We'll go ahead and slap it down over here. We haven't set our patron god yet. Honestly, I think Mars would actually make a lot of sense for us. We boost the production chain of charcoal, which we use a lot of, iron, iron ore, pigs, leather, armor. All these things I think we're going to be making a lot of. Now, once again, we can build ourselves a Grammaticus or a Phantom. We're probably going to build both if we can find the room for them. A little bit easier said than done, though. We're going to move the market over to here. Grammaticus can be built here, I guess. And then I'm going to move the spinner, which also provides knowledge. I'm going to move that over here. Salsicium can actually move there, and then we can build our Phantom right here if we get rid of this road. Now with that, we can start our research. Oh, we actually keep our research. Well, now I feel kind of dumb for not doing it last time. The last little bit of Act 1, I'm not gonna lie, I did not do very much. I was just kind of waiting for the story to complete. Okay, well now that we have everybody's needs met, we should probably go ahead and build a few military buildings as they suggested, starting with an iron mine, which seems to be in the perfect location right over here. We already have some charcoal burners, so all we should really have to do, other than very slightly messing up the wood efficiency here, is to connect it up. Let's not forget to also build the villa. I think this is a really nice place for it. One iron ore mine can actually support 2 furnaces. Put them down like that. Then 2 furnaces can actually support 3 weaponsmiths. And because we have the bonuses we're going to get from Mars, I think it would be nice for us to actually make all 3 weaponsmiths. Actually, let me move my manor a little bit. We'll start off with a couple of gates over here. Barracks we're going to put down right there. Also get ourselves a little palisade all the way through here. Oh, these archer towers are larger than I thought they would be. Okay, let me spend some time redesigning this, and I'll be right back. Okay, I think I found the design that I like. The archer towers are a little bit weird. You can actually build them inside of the walls on the same tile, but they can't have overlapping radii. which is a little weird. Takes a little getting used to because, you know, I'd probably slap these down like everywhere if I could. But I guess that's why you're not allowed to. So this is the best we're going to get. Also set up a little trade route, selling some excess weapons. Oh, and we can actually upgrade the trading post with loading ramps, additional storage, and catapults. Okay, having built a barracks, okay. So we need to train troops. Consider pausing productions that overproduce to free up people for the army. It's that bad, eh? I have a better idea. How about we just build a lot more houses? Oh, news from the Emperor. That's cool. On the bright side, being so far from Rome means that he can't really do too much to us. So how bad can it possibly be? Oh, he's actually coming to visit Albion. That's crazy. What do you know? This actually lines up almost perfectly with the history of Hadrian as he traveled to Britannia, actually the first place that he went to after he was emperor. Now that was in 122, a little bit after when we're playing, and just before Hadrian arrived in Britannia, there was also a major rebellion, which is kind of what we're going through right now. So the emperor's on his way, we need to make sure that there's no rebellion and no chance of him being injured. Okay, new objective, survive and make sure the emperor is pleased with the way we've set the place up. Now, what are we going to do with our decorations? We get two options. Either we get 100 prestige for 2 hours, or we get 100 happiness for 2 hours. I think I'll go with the prestige. That seems fine to me. Well, that looks quite nice. Now, we do need to continue upgrading these just so that we have enough population. It is starting to feel just a little bit cramped on this island. We barely have enough room for the things we need. I would really like to start draining this swamp, actually. It would be great to be able to extend the city all the way over here, but that might take a while. We can't host a festival though, and I'm pretty sure we have enough charcoal, probably. Oh, of course, we do have to arbitrate some of the population's issues. She asks how the punishment for stealing 2 chickens would be resolved under Roman law. Now, I'm no expert on Roman law myself, but I'm pretty sure somebody who stole would get flogged or possibly even just executed. At the very least, they would have to compensate a minimum of 1 or maybe a few times the value of the stolen item, as well as having to return the stolen property. Really, the two options we have are either getting plus 35 prestige and minus 15 happiness for 2 hours, or just getting plus 15 happiness for 2 hours. So honestly, cutting off the thief's hand might be most in line with Roman law. And of course we get to decide, but I'm just gonna go ahead and do it. She seems a little uncertain about that punishment, but I mean, it's really just 1 hand less to steal with, right? So like, how could she be complaining? This woman's talking about her brother's wife being unfaithful. Now, the punishment under Roman law could be quite severe for this, especially in the case of her brother's wife being unfaithful, because the punishments actually did change between men and women. There might be suing for confiscation of property, etc., etc. For now, though, we don't actually know if it happened, so we're going to discover if there's any truth in it. And this guy just wants us to help his cow. Okay. Paying 5,000 for 2 hours of 200 health is not bad, especially when there's a total opportunity cost of 500 health. Either we get 200 or we lose 300. I think I'll take the 200. Now, we should have enough population to go ahead and get ourselves 1 unit. Judging by the troops we're seeing here, I think all of these are melee troops. They do appear to be. So we'll need to meet them on the battlefield with an auxilia. Okay, we built all the decorations, but we instantly got a cutscene. Yeah, hold on a second, it's just 1 ship? 1 galley? Yeah. Turns out the Emperor's not showing up, it was just bait to try and get the Celts to attack. So they sent 1 ship, and the guy who's the Emperor, it's not really the Emperor. Well, I like how it just says, prepare yourself. Objective, survive. Oh, here we go. Oh, she knows that the Emperor's not here. Interesting. Okay, yeah, you guys spawned a lot faster than I thought you would. So, we actually have quite a few units, a few garrisons here. I didn't realize I had all of these. Maybe I should have gotten some archers instead. Anyway, I kind of forgot to build this wall. Yeah, let's do that real quick. That might be a decent idea. Okay, we've routed 1 unit, it's retreating. This one, we're just gonna face in battle. You should probably move here. You're gonna face these guys, you should probably go here. And you, I'm gonna have you deal with these guys. We do want to fight generally in range of these towers. They're gonna help us out quite a bit. We shattered the morale of 2 armies. I'm gonna have you chase this army down, actually, if you can. Oh, this unit of ours has actually been routed, that's not good. Look at them run away. Oh, hold on. We need to deal with you real quick. Okay, that wasn't actually so bad. Although I probably should have finished building the walls. Oh, she's declared formal war, okay. I like the idea of having this ambush, starting this war, and then being like, okay, now that we've attacked you, now we're going to declare war. I feel like that was kind of evident. You didn't really have to make that clear. We're really getting into the meat and bones of this game now. Now on chapter 6, we have two main objectives. Either we conquer Carraig Mhor, destroy Voada's Hall of Chiefs and 80% of the fortifications, or we can try to reason with Voada. If we complete diplomacy quests, maybe we can make her a little less hostile. But I think I want to showcase more of this game's warfare system, so we are going to go in to finish the military campaign. Okay, there are some other players in here maybe. Really like this menu, by the way. Especially the subtle effect in the background as you move your mouse around. I like that. Now, if we want to enter negotiations with Voada, what would she want? We could offer her a gift. Okay, there's that, I guess. Her army power is seemingly significantly stronger than ours. We just got an interesting line from Voada actually. She mentioned that her husband was killed by the Romans, and maybe earlier she mentioned her son possibly, so we have something not quite the same, but we see this historical fiction come into play. There are a lot of similarities here to Boudica's revolts, though that happened around 60 years before when we're playing. But it does give them the opportunity to tell at least some part of that story, even if a little bit fictionized. Boudica's husband was the king of Iceni, and he didn't die because the Romans killed him, but the reason she led a revolt against the Romans is actually because they decided to forcefully annex the territory of the Iceni tribe, as well as doing horrible things to Boudica's family. Corvinus has informed us of some druids over here, so we do have a quest to do something. They want us to settle this island actually. We've never managed multiple settlements before, let's give it a shot. If we want to build one of these shipyards, we're going to need a lot more mercators, and for that we're going to need a lot more room, so I might relocate all of this industry somewhere on this half the island. Alrighty, there we go, now we have enough of those pops. So it looks like we're not going to get any help from our father in Egypt. Oh well, we didn't expect any to begin with, really. Anyway, let's set up some farming just over here. Now we can slap this shipyard down. So much research to discover, but I have been going through it a little bit. We are going for drainage. Right, so they basically did say, please settle another island. What about this one? This looks nice. Alright, so I think our best bet would probably be the other starting island, in terms of the sheer amount of room we have to grow. Now, we also do need to settle this island, so let's kill two birds with one stone. We might as well go over here. Alright, let's set up shop right here. Although I kind of hate the way that this faces the shore here. Yeah, we're gonna do this. Well, first we're gonna make one of these at some point. Then we're gonna send like, I don't know, 30 lumber, 20 tiles over. And we can set up our little community. We'll actually start with a warehouse, like, right here. We'll have a few of these sat down. Either build a phantom, which is delivering sacrificial animals to renew the grove, or prepare to cut down the grove with a bardic hearth. Well, we are kind of going the path of war here, so we might as well remain consistent on that matter. Maybe I'll build one sort of like on this corner, and then another one on this corner. Just so that if we expand in either direction, we'll have some coverage here. I don't expect we're going to have too many of the level 2s here. This island isn't really meant to be built up like a metropolitan area. It's just like a resource colony, I think. We either need to select some beer or some wine. Oh, right, yes, because we on this island, we actually have barley. Although it doesn't look like we can actually make beer or wine. We just don't have the option. So in that case, I guess we're gonna go buy some. Oh right, yeah, we did want to talk to this guy. Hello, we brought our ship over. We would like to speak. You're also an imperial governor. Wait, really? If you say so. Okay, we can give you a gift. Want a gift? There you go. Are we friends now? Oh, here we go. Oh, he is clearly not an imperial governor. This guy has good reason to be suspicious, though, to be honest. Okay, we have a few options. We can just beg him for help. I don't know if we want to do that. Invoke the imperial authority. He doesn't seem like the kind of person to really care too much. I think we just have to earn his respect, probably. That seems like the kind of man he is. We've already fought one battle. How bad could another one be? Oh wait, he actually has a pledge to Rome? I'm so confused. I have no idea. It could be one of those situations where you would have the king of some region that, in an attempt to not be completely invaded by Rome and just annexed outright, would sort of like half pledge their loyalty. Maybe they'd make a promise like, oh yeah, we'll make the emperor the heir to my kingdom when I die, and they're just kind of biding their time to figure out if they can renege on that agreement. So that might be one of these situations, I'm not sure. Anyway, we do want to get ourselves a nobleman, and for that we're going to need soap and brooches. Alright, let's get to work on that. Now we're going to need silver. Fortunately, we do have silver on this island. And extra fortunately, we don't have to build it in like a silver deposit. Literally anywhere we have one of these mountain slots, it seems to work just fine. So might as well slap one down right there. Get a little road going this direction. We can throw down 2 silver forges right here. But we do need at least 2 of these fibulariums. We could build up to 4, I just don't think we're going to need 4. Although, we could always export that for money. We might as well. Alright, our other island here. What are you good for? Not a lot. Well, you're going to get, Neptune, I guess. There's really not much else we can give you. There you go. Wait, you said you had things I could buy. Where are the things I need? Yeah, I've got beer and wine, he says, and then I check and there's no beer or wine. Thank you, Corvinus. Very cool. I actually am going to buy you, though. Thank you. Oh, I see. If we want to buy wine from them, there's a little scroll bar. Yeah, we have to deliver tiles to him. Oh. Ooh, a quest. What do I have to do? Destroy things, deliver things, destroy things. Oh, these are contracts. I see. I mean, we can deliver things. That's not too bad, actually. Actually, not a single island in this entire archipelago is able to grow lavender. I guess we're just gonna have to buy soap then. We do have this going on, so can I please buy soap? And then we can unload it when we get back. Now we can get that wine. The wine and the ship are all mine. Which ship? This one, hell yeah. I do like free things. Oh yeah, we've just been wasting wood here. Hold on. We should be building all of these. Oh, we've also become a major imperial city. That's important because the chance of a fire breaking out is astronomical on this island. I like how we're still given the option, even after delivering the wine, whether or not we want to cut down the grove. I appreciate that, but we are going to cut it down. Now, back on the home island, I think we should be able to upgrade one of our guys now. Oh no, of course, we still actually need to build the next thing. For us to upgrade our mercators to nobles, we are going to have to give them a few extra things. Olive oil and amphorae. Oh, I see. For us to make this, we are going to have to use the resin on this island. I mean, we might as well just make it here and then export it then, right? Put this down right here. We do need to upgrade like 2 of these. I like how absolutely Roman Marcus is. He's like, yeah, if we let that grove be, then they would have organized a rebellion. It's a very Roman way of thinking. It's kind of like, oh, we need to expand the borders so that we can protect our cities, and then we're gonna make more cities on those borders, and then we need to protect those. We need to keep on expanding the border. I think we might also have to purchase some olive oil, buy 20 and unload 20. As for walls, I think it would be reasonable for us to go ahead and build a few more, just kind of like along here maybe. Ooh, we have some embezzlers. They just have like a massive pile of gold sitting in the street. Don't worry, Governor, nothing to see here. They've cost us thousands. I barely even have 12,000. We can get a specialist out of this for income area effect. That's actually pretty useful. But surely that would be too lenient, right? These are crimes against the Roman Empire. We can send them to Manx for a Celtic trial, but ultimately, the crime is not against Manx's tribe, it's against us. So we're going to hand them over to the Procurator. Having a standing force of 3 military units would be kind of impossible for us. Because each military unit is what, like 45? Yeah, 44 workers. And we have a total of 254. So I would have to double the number of these waiter residences and double the supplies that we gather for them. I really don't know if it's going to happen. I'll give it a shot, but in the meantime, what we're going to do is try to assemble a larger navy, which of course is also going to require people, but at least it requires fewer. Okay, let me try something real quick. And by something, what I actually mean is an entire extra settlement. Now, this settlement is going to be dedicated to producing nothing but the exact necessary goods that the pops over here require. Yeah, I don't think I'm paying that, actually. I didn't think they'd attack this island. Yeah, well, like, there's not really much I can do here, I guess. I'll send my ships over, even though I don't think they can do much. Okay, now, I mean, trading post is destroyed, but we did cause the enemy to flee, so... I guess we succeeded. Now, we just have to repair this. I don't actually know how to do that. Well, if that manages to fix itself soon, then we might as well get started on a different part of this project. See, we need to expand the city. It's kind of a marsh in the way, though, so I went ahead and researched swamp draining. So we'll slap down a marsh slot right here, and we're gonna go ahead and drain this entire thing. That is really fast, actually. Out of curiosity, what happens if I demolish this? Oh, the swamp comes back. Okay. Oh, okay, you have to click the upgrade button to fix it. I see. Alright, now we can build more houses over here, and we've replaced the production we need some things over here. All of the stuff we needed is now going to come from here. Oh, and of course the Emperor wants payment. We're gonna wait a little bit, I think. Now that I have these supply chains set up where I'm like actually sending specific resources from one settlement to another to try and optimize the allocation of the workforce, I'm starting to understand the appeal of these games. With Act 1, I was a little, let's say, unconvinced necessarily, but now, if I don't put out another video for the next 3 weeks, you know what I'm doing. I've been so locked into the game that I actually haven't even been recording. Quick update on the city, things are looking pretty solid, actually. We have no deficits, we have quite a few nobles, we're making concrete, so that's neat. We're gonna satisfy their needs soon, probably. But actually what I want to do is build like a massive navy, because I feel like we're rich enough to probably finish this act. Yeah, we have a few things. Trade treaty with this guy. Oh, yeah, that sounds good to me. Non-aggression pact? Sure. Alright, let's see if we can get these 3 ships to destroy Vuada's supply fleet. Now, do I want to fight that navy? I'm not actually sure. Maybe I should come back with more ships. Another ransom demand. Okay, actually, never mind. We're gonna refuse and then fight them. Presumably this is the ship she's sending to raid us. I think she only sent one last time as well. Well, that wasn't too bad. Okay, now let's go to her island. Oh yeah, also we can pay you now. There you go. Oh, I was gonna say, here's the real test, but I don't like the way that the test is looking. Well, for better or worse, we're in it. Okay, 3 ships down, 1 quest complete. That wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. Alrighty, our ships are gonna sail around, try to deal with this tower as we deal with the troops on the ground. There we go, second outpost. This one might be a little bit more difficult, but only a little bit because we can get to this tower faster. Mark is talking about how he's become more violent as governor. Yeah, don't worry buddy, it's not your fault. Second supply navy, we're gonna go after the ship that has arms on it, and then the merchant vessels. This one ship is getting kind of crushed, so you're gonna fall back, actually. Never mind, it's cooked. Well, that's okay, we'll go ahead and make another one. Actually, I should make a few of these. We've built an absolutely enormous navy, a sizable army. I feel like we can probably finish this. Don't mind me just coming through. Here we are. Not much of a landing site. That's not ideal. Also not ideal. Yeah, this place kind of sucks. Well, we'll give it a shot. Ooh, that's how you want to do that. Okay, let's do that then. This should be over pretty quickly, I think. Now, that leaves her with not a lot left, actually. I feel like we can probably go fight her. There's the trade fleet. Not bold enough to attack it while it's in the harbor, especially not with that ballista there. But I do want to shadow them. Or we could just fight each other. Okay, let's try this. Oh, you're under heavy fire. Let's have you move out of the way, maybe. There goes one ship. At least they didn't have any troops on them. You don't either, that's good. Okay. I believe that was the last military objective. We still have all our troops. Let's give it a shot. Okay, let's attack this ballista. Make sure it can't deal too much damage before we land. Disembark troops. Will it be enough? I have no idea. But we have 4 auxilia and 2 archers. Now, I don't think we actually want to fight them inside here. If we can, we'd like to draw them out. Now, if this AI were humans, I suspect they probably wouldn't take this bait. Probably. But we're going to move the formations in like this. We're going to grab the archers, put them right behind. Yeah, they do have that uphill advantage. They're already throwing javelins at us. That's great. Okay, infantry, push. One of ours has been routed. Oh, yeah, it's looking really bad for us, actually. This is looking really bad for us. I think we should leave. I think that would be a really good idea. This did not go to plan. Now that the army's within range, we can start using our ships to bombard them. You need to get on a navy. Well, that could have gone better. But I think we cleared out half of her forces, and I don't know if she can re-recruit them. So we might as well go back and then give it another shot. Hello again. If at first you don't succeed, simply drown them with numbers. Now, they have 3 units left. I think they started with 6, maybe. And our goal this time is to actually have them fight us. Never mind, they are not taking the bait. Okay. Wow, that is not easy to break down. Fortunately, it is baiting their chariots to get up close and personal, which is exactly what we want. In fact, this might be the worst place you could put chariots in a fight. We're on a hill and an enclosed space. Chariots would have been a lot better somewhere open where they can use their, mobility to flank. but having them frontline in a choke point is maybe the worst actual possible idea. Now, let's shift our attention. We'll deal with those later. Now, we don't have too many troops, but the only thing that stands in our way is these two gates. One gate down. This is looking kind of bad. I didn't realize these gates would be so difficult. Maybe I should have researched siege engines or something. Yeah, maybe. Okay, next, the last building. That's gonna take forever to get rid of. Okay, that's a little bit annoying. I love my last-ditch attempts to do a raid. Very cool. Not gonna save your building from getting destroyed, but thanks for that. Fortunately, I did think to bring more troops. And there we go. And so we conclude the second act. And just in case, I did actually build more units, which would actually have shown up pretty soon. Now, is that everything? I guess it is. That's it. No more objectives. Chapter 7. Alright, we're not just redeemed in the eyes of the Emperor. We're actually going to have an Ovatio when we return. Not quite as important or lavish as a triumph, but probably fitting considering the situation. It's not like we conquered all of Albion. We just put down what was considered to be a rebellion. We're getting the sense here that Calidus is only giving us this Ovatio because if he didn't, it would look like he's trying to sideline us. And of course, as a new emperor, he would want to have us on his side. Whether or not we take his side, we'll see. Right, though we have actually pacified Albion, kind of. We're still the governor, so of course once we go back and we have our Ovatio, we will be expected to return to our duties. Now apparently we might be the governor of both Albion and Latium, which isn't impossible. It did happen sometimes, but the standard model would have been one province, one governor. And you'd think, especially for a place as important as Latium, that's where Rome itself is. But I digress. Let's return to Latium. And that's Act 2. We return to Latium. Is this in theory Rome? Ooh, we better not be standing on that chariot. We wouldn't have been allowed to do that. In an Ovatio, typically, the guy being celebrated would ride in on horseback. Specifically not in a chariot guided by two horses. We're getting high praise from the Emperor though, especially for the methods we chose. Oh, there's my terrible little town. Okay, we are back in Latium. I kind of expected to have to start fresh again, and I almost would have preferred that given how awfully I built this. But that is where we're going to end things off for today. If we haven't already, I assume we're about to enter Act 3, and I think, yes, we can now flip between Albion and Latium. Now, I would actually like to see, I have a world map here. Oh, I love this map so much. That's amazing. And I think may or may not indicate, we might have a little spot in here, maybe a spot in here. Who knows? If they went through the effort of making a whole map, I assume they would go through the effort of also populating it with more spots to play in. Anyway, that is where we're going to end things off for today. If we haven't already, we're about to enter into the third act, and this video is definitely going to be longer than the last one. Now, Anno 117 is already out, but if you haven't picked it up and played it for yourself, and you feel like checking it out beyond this video, you can take a look at the link we have in the description. If you enjoyed today's video, though, leaving a like would be super appreciated, and we might take another look at an Anno game in the future, or if not, I also tend to cover some other historical strategy games on this channel. But for now, thank you very much for watching, and I hope you have a fantastic day. Big thank you to the patrons for this month. Everybody here does get early access to videos for as low as $1, but I'd like to give a special thank you to those who decide to donate more. So thank you, Erica, Born to Dunk, Gallo4, Gorka Maistegi, Licka Becker, Mikhail Sample, Nick Steffel, Princess Rhea, Q-Brute, Spyro, Tillman Augustin, A.G. Ferrero, Ben Mottram, Quiet Guy, Rosset, Ambient Cyan, Elysia Tutz, James Levy, Luke78776, Stalin DLRP, and Robert.